Hi there, thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Cece. It's been a minute since I've uploaded a video. I've been busy moving into a new place, which as you can see, I'm in my new room. The setup I'm still trying to figure out, so bear with me for that. I don't know if this is going to be what my background is going to look like for future videos, but this is what we've got for now. I've got the vinyls here, I've got posters, got my plants right there. We've got stuff going on. It's the end of the year. It's the end of 2024. What a year. I feel like I could do a short video, longer video, just all on its own, talking about just how crazy and eventful this year was for me. So much went on. And with this year ending means a music discussion video. We'll be talking about my favorite albums, we'll be talking about my favorite songs that weren't a part of albums, and also my favorite songs that were in those albums that came out this year. I've got a list. I don't really think it's in the order that I want to talk about the things, so it'll be fun just coming up on the fly what order I want to talk about these albums and songs. But if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you're new here, welcome. Feel free to subscribe and let's get into this discussion. I was really close to saying reaction. I think I'm gonna go into the order of to the best of my ability when these albums came out. I think that's how I usually do it, and I think I say this every year. So that's a tradition. The first one I'm gonna talk about is Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. This album came out around the time that I graduated college, I think. Billie Eilish did such a different setup on this album than she's done in the past. She put out just everything, all 10 of the songs at the same time. She wanted this album to be something to listen all at once, all together, and it was a really great listen. It was a really great listen from the start. The songs, some of those songs tore me up. Some of those songs got me feeling another kind of way. I think it was a very good decision to make it the kind of album where you listen to everything at once, because those songs are so connected. My favorite songs that I want to note on this album are Chihiro. That one is so underrated. It was a single, right? Like, I feel like it was a single, but when people talk about singles on this album, they talk about Lunch and Birds of a Feather, which those are great songs too, but I like Chihiro the most out of those three. And then this was kind of not a part of the album, but I'm gonna count it anyways. The L'amour de ma vie extended edit. I liked the original. I liked the softer part of the original and then the other part that came at the end all of a sudden. But then having it just be that last part of the song and making it longer was such a good move. And I really wish it was just part of the album. Maybe combining the two, so then maybe the last part is even longer, but I really like that the last one just has its own thing extended. I listen to that song all the time. The next album I want to mention is an artist that I haven't really talked about on here ever, and that is the I Miss You Already plus I Haven't Left Yet by Delwater Gap. I've listened to Delwater Gap more this year, mainly this album that I've listened to. The songs that pop out the most to me on this album are All We Ever Do Is Talk and Purple Teeth. Now, the next one I want to bring up, Brat by Charli XCX. That one I believe also came out around the time I graduated college. This album was such a good thing for Charli. It got a lot of public recognition and I'm very proud of her for that. Like, this is amazing that people are actually recognizing her talented work. And she was able to do it on an album that was authentic to her too, because I remember her talking about how her last album, Crash, was a little more of a main pop album to try to get the audience's attention. And then Brat is just Charli being herself. And that's the one that got the big public recognition. That's great. Love Crash though. Now, my favorites on this album, and I'm including the deluxe one too. And I want to include that specifically because Spring Breakers is my favorite Brat song. There's no competition. I like so many of the songs on here, but like, Spring Breakers. Spring Breakers is that girl. I also really like Club Classics. That one is actually up there on the top two with Spring Breakers. And then Von Dutch. Von Dutch still hits. Every time you listen to it, I just feel so ready to just like punch something. I kind of want to include this as a whole different album, but it's the remix album of Brat. A lot of the songs are way different than the original songs, which we love in a remix. When it comes to the remixes, Von Dutch remix, which was I think the first remix to come out of this album since it was the first song on the regular album, that Von Dutch remix with A.G. Cook and Addison Rae, so good. And there was a while when I liked the remix song more than the original. Now it fluctuates. Sometimes I'm more in the mood for the remix song, but then other times I'm more in the mood for the original. Otherwise, the Club Classic remix, so good. I want to talk about the 365 remix too. I've seen a lot of people loving that one. I love the 365 remix, but I like the 365 remix that's from the Boiler Room, but I also want to talk about the Club Classics remix, because that Club Classics remix, bringing 365 into that, and then the feature with BB Tricks, like, that was amazing. That's amazing. I don't hear that one being talked about enough. That is an amazing remix. But I also really like the Boiler Room version of the Club Classics remix. What we need is a Boiler Room released album on streaming platforms. Okay, this next album I want to talk about is also an artist that I have never talked about on this channel before. He has just been one of my top artists this year. I have gotten very much into his music and I need to talk about him. Bronze Avery. He is so talented and you have no idea. His voice, amazing. His songs, bops, amazing. He has 2 very great albums. Frankly, his soft metal album that I also got into the beginning of this year. That album, especially the title track Soft Metal, which is my favorite song on that album, so good. I love that title track. But the current album, the one that he released this year, is called Heat Wave. That has so many summer songs on there. And the album released during the summer. I was listening to that song when I was visiting my sister in another state. Like, that was the album that I had on repeat while I was on a train for hours and hours and hours. But when it comes to Bronze Avery's Heatwave album, my top 3 are the one, If You Touch Me. I think that's like the first song on that album that I really got into. And then It Is What It is just a song that I just can't help but listen to on repeat. Probably because it's so short and it should be longer. That's my one complaint about that song. Otherwise, love It Is What It Is. And then also the song Scan and Copy, which is his most popular song, I think. But Scan and Copy, I want to hear that one in the clubs more. Where is Scan and Copy in the clubs? Where is it? Do I need to request Scan and Copy in the clubs in order to hear it? Because I'll do that. I want to hear it without asking for it, you know? And while we're on the note of Bronze Avery, I would love it if he re-released merch, vinyl, or CDs for soft metal. Please, please. I want soft metal merch so badly. I missed out on it when it first came out. Now that I'm really into his music, I want soft metal merch. Now, speaking of another really amazing summer album, we got Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter. Following Sabrina since 2014 with her first album, Eyes Wide Open, it is great to see like how much she's grown in popularity, especially this year, especially with this album. Espresso, such a good song. I listen to Espresso a lot. And I won't deny how much I love it. I used to like Please Please Please, but I can't listen to that one anymore because it reminds me of my ex. But the other 2 songs that I really like from that album are Bedcome, which I've also seen has kind of been skyrocketing a bit, which is well deserved. One of the best songs on this album. Honestly, probably the song I listen to the most off of Short and Sweet. And then Dumb and Poetic. Dumb and Poetic needs to be talked about more. I like that song so much. Next album I want to talk about, of course, is Negative Spaces by Poppy. Getting through Zig and that whole Zig experience and then the whole zigzag theory thing was a whole experience of its own. But then Negative Spaces came out, threw that all off, and it has a lot going on in it. There's metal, there's rock, there's pop, a lot of versatility, like the I Disagree album and the Am I a Girl album. But my favorite songs that I've really been able to get to on Negative Spaces are Crystallized, Vital, and Surviving on Defiance. Crystallized, that was a whole new experience because before I was thinking that Negative Spaces was just gonna be a metal album with the songs that came out so far, and then Crystallized came in and it's like, oh surprise, a pop song, whoa. And then Surviving on Defiance, I've really been able to get into lately. I think Surviving on Defiance is like my top 2 with Crystallize on songs on this album, and then Vital's like the 3rd spot. Or I may like Surviving on Defiance more than Crystallize. I don't know. Right now it's a contest between those 2. The last album I want to mention in my favorite albums and songs of 2024 would be Halsey's album, The Great Impersonator. The way that this album was advertised this year, such a crazy experience. Halsey left and right each day was dressing up really well, makeup and outfit, wigs, whatever, as different artists that inspired the songs. She did amazing. She did the makeup, most of the makeup it sounds like. This talent. I never filmed my reaction to this song. Lonely is the Muse, That song I did react to in a video, and it still is one of my favorites off of this album. It honestly might still be my favorite song in the album. I love that one. Each time I listen to it, it attacks me. Every time. Panic Attack also, amazing. And Arsonist. I would say that those are the other two songs that I really vibe with on this album. Okay, now that I've talked about my favorite albums, we're gonna talk about my favorite songs of 2024. And the first one I wanna mention is Make You Mine by Madison. I say that because that was one of my top songs of 2024. The moment that I first started listening to that song, I was hooked. Even before the music video, it just felt so powerful. I felt so strong and powerful and sexy. And then the music video comes out and it's Jennifer's Body inspired. Yeah, I'm seated. I really want more songs like this from her. Cause this style that Make You Mine had, it fits her so well. And I really wanna see her experiment with like that dark dance pop kind of vibe more. Next, I want to talk about a couple of songs by Zolita called Small Town Scandal and Bye Bye Baby. When it comes to Zolita's songs, I feel like I like her pop country stuff the most, especially Small Town Scandal. It suits her. That's also one of the top songs that I listened to the most this year, apparently. Next, I want to talk about specifically Houdini from Dua Lipa. I listened to Radical Optimism, but frankly, there were some other good songs on there, but Houdini I feel like was the standout. Don't come after me, please, if you like this album. I'm so sorry. Next, I want to talk about Good Luck Babe by Chappell Roan. That song, I've really been liking Chappell Roan's music this year, and Good Luck Babe is definitely one of my favorites from her. And I've heard that song everywhere, and I'm so glad that I've heard that song everywhere because it's a great listening experience. Next, I want to talk about an artist that I've been getting into more recently called Keshi. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He has a couple of songs that I've really been liking that came out this year called Bodies and Say. They're part of an album, but I haven't listened to the rest of the album yet, so if you're a fan of his watching this, let me know if I should listen to the rest of this album. I will anyways, so I don't know why I'm asking. Now, an artist that has come out with a couple of really great pop songs this year, Addison. That EP she released was one thing, but then she released Diet Pepsi. That song, beautiful. And then Aquamarine. I've really been liking Aquamarine recently. Aquamarine is my favorite song from Madison right now. Aquamarine is my birthstone, so that gives me even more of an excuse to be in love with that song. Okay, the last song that I want to mention that I've really gotten into this year is a collaboration by Poppy and Bad Omens called VAN, Van. This was one of my top songs this year too. It was in my top 5. I've listened to the song nonstop. It's in the battle of my favorite Poppy collaboration with Dead Flowers, because I'm gonna say Dead Flowers is a very tough collaboration to beat with being my favorite Poppy collaboration, but Van is very much up there, top 2 with Dead Flowers. And the music video is so cinematic. I love the verses and how robotic they are, and then the screaming in the bridge, just chef's kiss with this song. I'm very excited to hear what is going to be released in 2025, who's going to release music in 2025. A lot of people released music in 2024. Maybe Lorde? We can only hope. Why didn't I mention the Girls So Confusing remix? I'm mentioning that one too. Why did I not mention that? I love the Girls So Confusing remix. Let's work it out on the remix. Charli and Lorde coming together for that. Absolute masterpiece. Okay, now that I've talked about my favorite albums and songs that have come out this year, why don't you tell me your favorite songs and albums that have come out in 2024? Let me know down in the comments below. And also, what you're excited for in 2025. Like this video and subscribe for more. I have done music reactions, I've done covers of songs that I like. I will leave playlists for those on my screen for you to watch if you would like to. And I hope to see you in my next video in 2025. Bye!